Assalamualaikum and a very good day. We are from Group 8 and today we're going to present to you the Univariate model technique for Malaysian Genomics Resource Center Berhad company. So we are consist of 4 members, which is Siti Nurba, NOREHA, FARHANA, HAZWANI, and also me, NURUL. Now we begin with the introduction. Malaysian Genomics Resource Center is actually a genetic screening service provider, not only for animal diversity, but plants and microbial genomes also being handled by them. This company has won and achieved many recognition, for example, by Nexus, until successfully listed on the AZHAR market. Why do we choose this company and why it is so important to forecast? First of all, we believe in the MGRC industry and its capabilities based on their cutting-edge technology. Moreover, based on their historical data, this company will sustain in our healthcare despite of any pandemic. These are the news on the company, which I have mentioned in the previous introduction. For example, Malaysian Genomics picks investor interest amid pandemic, which means they are actually doing well, even though we are having pandemic.
Research objective. The first one is to study the pattern of the close price of MGRC Berhad using 4 models from 4 January 2021 to 1 November 2021. Next one is to determine the most suitable models among 4 models of univariate modeling techniques for the close price of MGRC Berhad from 4 January 2021 to 1 November 2021. Last but not least is to forecast 1 step ahead of the close price of MGRC Berhad from 4 January 2021 to 1 November 2021.
The basis of our study is based on the daily report of Malaysian Genomic Resources Center Berhad (MGRC) starting from January 2021 to November 2021. And this data is very crucial to traders as it reflects the state of nation's economics, especially during this time of pandemics. And then the line graph shows the stability of the Malaysian Stocks Exchange, and it implies as a key reference for foreign investors who are interested to invest in Malaysian companies. And the figure here shows the line graph, which depict a timeline graph for the historical data series on the daily report of MGRC, for which the data were collected daily for each of the month throughout the 11th period of month from January to November 2021. At first appearance, the graph of Malaysian Genomic Resource Center Daily Index shows that the gradient of the trend line from the graph has been positively growing, which is making it favorable for both long-term and short-term investment. In the last 5 months, from March to October 2021, the rate of change in the data series has been positive. Furthermore, from the graph, we notice that the movement also follows on the increasing trend pattern of time series, which indicates that for each day increase, the close price also increased. The graph exhibits a drop at the beginning of the year in March 2021. After soon, it recovers. Such increase in movement for the past 5 months, starting from May 2021, is better than the beginning of the year. On the other hand, the data points in the line graph are not stable and fluctuates at random times without pattern, which means that the time series data is not influenced by the cyclical components. Even though the country was in the midst of an economic depression at the time of pandemic, the service of the Malaysian Genomic Resource Center is desperately needed.
Next, we proceed to the method of analysis part.
So the first model that we have chosen is knife with trend method because this method is emphasized on the trend component since we are studying the close price of stocks or company in Bursa Malaysia. So why do we choose knife with trend forecast? Because of this method can overcome the problem of insufficient data, and also we can use the fairly short time series, and also this method can forecast 1 step ahead, which represented by the equation stated there.
The next model chosen is average forecast. This method implies that the forecast value is equal to the average value of the data series during the historical time period for which the data were collected. As a result, anytime a new observation is collected and added to the current series, the forecast value must be recalculated. The general form for the average forecast is Ft plus M equal to Y bar, where Ft plus M is the forecast for M step ahead made at period T, and Y bar is equal to arithmetic mean of YT divided by capital T, where capital T is the total number of observations in time series.
The first choice of our group is the single exponential smoothing technique, and this model approach is the third choice of our model. So to generate the fitted value and so forecast value, this model just require only one parameter, which is the smoothing constant alpha, and this method also take the most recent projection into consideration. However, within the family of exponential smoothing approach, this model is the most simplest and the most basic ones. As for the general equation of this model is ft plus m equal to alpha yt plus 1 minus alpha times by ft.
Next, this will be the last model that we will use to forecast the close price for the MGRC Berhad, which is the double exponential smoothing technique. This model is very useful when you want to do the forecasting for the series of data that exhibits a linear trend characteristic. The difference between the double exponential and the single exponential is double exponential requires more than one parameters, which is a bit complicated compared to the single exponential. The equation for the forecasting when we use the double exponential smoothing technique is ft plus m equals to at plus bt times m. Now we move on to the analysis and results.
This is the graph of the close price of MGRC Berhad using line with the trend model. The graph shows an increasing pattern, or the trend is going upward in line with the equation of y equals to 0.0058x minus 255.94, where the slope is positive. This graph finding proves that there is only one trend component exists. So as we can see, this is our findings on the live forecast. For the first three rows above, it is our initial value, and for the last two rows is our findings, which shows the forecast value 2.5623, which is not far, but it is stated, and it shows a slight decrease from the value on 1st of November 2021.
Based on the graph of the close price of MGRC Berhad using average forecast from 4 January 2021 to 1 November 2021, an upward trend pattern can be seen. The upward trend pattern suggests that the close price is likely to continue heading upward. Furthermore, the uptrend trend line has the equation of y equal to 0.0058x minus 255.94. Next, the close price has no seasonality behavior because there is no regular fluctuations occurring within 4 January 2021 to 1 November 2021. And there is also no cyclic behavior as the data time period is less than a year. The initial value of the average forecast is shown in the table. The initial value of the close price is 1.06. The initial value of the fitted is 1.600862069, and the initial value of the error is negative 0.540862007, and the initial value of the error square is 0.292531778, and the initial value of the absolute error is 51.02472349. And the forecast value for the average forecast is 1.600862069, and it is the same value as all of.
Next, this figure shows the fitted and the actual values of the Malaysian Genomic Resource Centre close price using the single exponential smoothing method from January to November 2021. On the plot graph there, the increasing trend component is present, but no identification of seasonal, irregular, and cyclical component exists. But there are two different types of line there, which is the fitted line and then the close price line, where both of the line shows an increasing similar trend pattern. There are two types of table, which is the orange one shows the fitted value of the initial value 1.06 from the MGRC time series data on the 4th and the 5th January of 2021, which is it including the value of errors and the value of mean absolute percent errors. And the green one is the forecast value of MGRC time series data, which was conducted on November 1st. Thus, the forecast value is 2.6622 is still between what it should be, which is not further, and it wasn't too close to the previous value.
Next, as we can see, this is the graph that we will get when we use the double exponential smoothing technique. There is a trend line on this graph with the equation of y equals to 0.0058x minus 256.19. There is no seasonal component, cyclical component, or even the irregular component on this graph. After we see the graph, now we will move on to the table part. This is a table of double exponential smoothing technique. The first two columns is the initial values, and the second last column is the value that we will get before we do the forecasting for the one step ahead. The last column will be the forecasting value, which is 2.699242, where it is a bit lower than the value that we have before we do the forecasting. Finally, we have reached the last part of our group presentation, which is the conclusion. Based on the table shown on the slide, we can see that our group have decided to use four types of models, which are naive trend model, average forecast model, single exponential smoothing technique, and double exponential smoothing technique. A comparison has been made among these four models, and the model with the smallest value of mean square error and mean absolute percentage error will be selected as the best model to forecast the close price for MGRC Berhad. As a result, naive trend model will be selected as the best model since it has the smallest value of MSE, which is 0.003223, and the smallest value of markup, which is 1.746471. The value of one step ahead for MGRC Berhad is 2 ringgit and 56 cents. That's all from our group on Univariate Modeling Techniques project. Thank you.